Holy Scooby snacks, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. And Dragon, tonight, my God, if you want to talk about the finer points of filmmaking, folks, the Academy Award nominations came out yesterday. Dragon, we're not going to talk about those just yet. We're going to wait until the week of, so we have a chance to see more of the nominations. But if you want to talk about fine filmmaking, Dragon, just the best, most sublime, most subversive filmmaking that the genre and the art and the medium itself has to offer, look no further than the new Scooby-Doo movies.
Yes.
I'm being a bit facetious. But regardless, Dragon, we like the new Scooby-Doo movies, right? You know, from the Harlem Globetrotters to, let's see, to Don Knotts. Don Knotts was a favorite of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We all have our Scooby-Doo nostalgia, to say the least. But this is a big crossover appeal of the the new Scooby-Doo line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But of course, I think the most memorable for everyone was like, hey, remember the Scooby-Doo Batman episodes?
What do I remember those?
Yeah. All right. So, Dragon, do you have any background on how this whole crossover madness got started?
Well, sure. Also, just to speak a little bit to the nostalgia that build into it there, I just want to say, like, I remember, like, I had the VHS tape of both back in the day of the Scooby-Doo Batman crossovers from the Scooby-Doo movies line, and I picked it up because, you know, as when I was young, of course, big Batman the Animated Series fan. This Batman had the yellow oval on it, so I was kind of like, I knew it wasn't the exact same Batman, but I was looking like, hey,
oh no, oh god, and Dragon, that's the thing. That's the fascinating thing about watching these movies and why Dragon and I decided to do them in the first place is, folks, this is like so decidedly, it's not Kevin Conroy Batman, it's not comic Batman, it's not even freaking closely resembling Adam West Batman, for God's sake.
Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, I wasn't going into it expecting, you know, the animated series Batman, because, again, it didn't look like necessarily exactly like him, but I was expecting just kind of what I knew to be, you know, just kind of the serious, stern Batman. And this is before I really got to know, like, what the heck the Adam West Batman was, where it falls in the middle of this. Before, again, I didn't know all the specificity. I just kind of went into, like, hey, I like Scooby-Doo, and hey, I love Batman. Let's see what happens when they meet each other. And it was a memorable, trippy experience. And it's been years since I've watched these. I mean, in my lifetime, you know, with this, I'd say I probably have watched this, I mean, including when I got it, roughly 4 times, because, you know, the package deal for both, like 2 40-minute specials you have with this and its sequel. So yeah, I recently acquired DVD with both of these on the featurettes, and we'll talk about what the name DVD is. One of these videos upcoming, you'll see.
Oh yeah, of course. But
yeah,
kind of a Scooby-Doo detective theme miniseries, sort of building up to the main event, which is the release of Gotham by Gaslight, which is something that Dragon has been very, very stoked for, and I've sort of, like, Deadpool style, sort of been vicariously living through his excitement.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. The original Elseworlds.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not to say I'm not excited.
Gaslight.
I'm just saying, like, you know, you've definitely got a hype level for it.
Right. So anyway, there's not a lot of background, but the story behind this between again, specifically what we're doing, because there are 2 specials to clarify. The dynamic Scooby-Doo affair. That's the name of this one. This is the first crossover. This was Hanna-Barbera utilizing their Filmation rights, because at some point they got the rights to Filmation, and they were newly acquired back around 72, probably 71 if I'm extrapolating. And again, they start up a new Scooby-Doo show, and you know, the new Scooby-Doo movies, where again they planned out, okay, we're gonna have the Scooby-Doo characters, which, you know, I assume from Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The original. I think that was the original Scooby-Doo show. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? I think.
I'd like to think so, yeah. And probably
And,
best, let's be honest.
well, I mean, I still have a lot of love for pup named Scooby-Doo. And
that's a kitschy favorite.
Yeah, because I think Tom Ruger was involved in that one. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so basically, they have this line of, okay, we're gonna have a lot of like crossovers, like Scooby-Doo the Harlem Globetrotters, Scooby-Doo Don Us. We're gonna have all these other crossovers, and they wanted to do it right out the gate. It wasn't the first episode, but it was early on. I don't know if that was like just
I think it was episode
ducks in a row. I'm sorry.
I said I'm pretty sure this is episode 2.
You're right. It is episode 2. This is the second episode, and their guest stars are Batman and Robin. And me, like many other people, when I used to watch the new Scooby-Doo, when it was reran on Cartoon Network, then eventually got put on the Hanna-Barbera channel. Back in the day, I remember like many people watching for the first time. You're like Kevin Smith, you're waiting for the opening where it's Scooby and Shaggy with that little with the flashlight revealing who the guest star is. And my fingers across, like, come on, let it be Batman, let it be Batman.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, big time.
And again, I remember this.
Like, even though this is like it's not necessarily like a crazy Steve Batman, but it's more so just like it's such a bizarre, bonkers, like out of character from everything else Batman.
Oh yeah, I remember this one most. Obviously, the last thing I'll say is going to give some context going into this thing. I think that I remember this out of the two specials most because there's two of the iconic kind of Scooby Batman moments in this one. You have the bat snacks.
Oh yes,
and you have the skeleton costume plotline.
Also, just the location of this dragon. I love the root image that I picked because I love the idea of this whole episode kind of taking place around a Scooby-Doo museum, or at least a good like bulk set piece of the episode.
Well, speaking of Scooby-Doo museum, it kind of reminds me in the movie, and the reason I bring up the skeleton costumes is when I saw the sequel, Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed, the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. I remember they had like the two little skeleton creatures in there, like the skeletons come to life, like the one-eyed skeletons, and of course, I know they're not the same exact ones, but when I saw those, I was thinking, oh, hey, the reference in when Penguin and Joker dressed up like skeletons. Oh. In the back of my mind, I was thinking that.
Oh,
so, so of course, folks, we're going to try to keep
the ultimate stretch, the ultimate, like, hey, this could reference a really, really important thing in Batman mythology. Trust me, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah, I'm going to stretch this paper thin, man.
Hey Tiki, tell you what, real quick, I want to plug Harley Quinn and the Joker real quick.
Oh, yeah,
I do that, you think you could? You think you could maybe come in and come out again or something? Because I'm a little worried.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Can you hear me now?
Say hello to the folks.
I don't know. I'll go out and come back in. I can't guarantee that it'll work, though.
Well, let's just try it once more, and I'll vamp for a moment. Okay. All right. So, folks, listen, real quick, I'm going to tell you this. Check out our friends at Just Giggle. Those are some fine filmmakers. They do a series on there because we're talking Batman. I thought it'd be relevant. It is called Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World. Basically takes Harley Quinn and the Joker and places them in L.A. They kind of move from Gotham to L.A., to to kind of get away from it all, kind of start fresh, and they get into some shenanigans, hijinks ensue. Just Giggle, these guys, they know comedy, they know good storytelling, very promising. Joshua Thomas, in particular, he is the kind of a man who wears many hats: director, writer, producer. So he knows what he's doing, folks. I highly recommend it, and I again encourage everyone check out Just Giggle. Soon, from what I hear, there might be a potential Kickstarter or crowdfunding of some kind, and I'm sure. If you already don't check out their stuff or go to Patreon for them, I'm sure you're going to want to do that. So just keep your eyes peeled. Those guys always have something cool down the pipeline. So, of course, we're doing here back to
okay,
agenda.
Speaking of promotions, I'm going to do a promotion just to test the audio. All right.
Okay.
Luke Skywalker, eat your heart out, kids. Have you ever gotten sick of blue milk from Star Wars? Have you ever just said to yourself, the gimmick has just lost its charm, it's lost its luster? Well, man, have I got a liquid beverage for you. It's not just milk, it's Batman brand Bat Milk. That's right, folks. Just one sip of Batman brand Bat Milk, and you'll never go back to boring old Luke Skywalker blue milk ever again. It's that good. Aw, yeah. What do you think?
Okay.
Is that good? I mean, could you hear me? Like,
yeah, I can hear you. It's a little better, and we're just gonna have to wait and see, I guess, after the thing. But it sounds a little better than it was, so we're okay. It seems like we're good on that front. All right.
okay.
So, of course, we're gonna try to keep this conversational, folks, but in kind of typical commentary fashion. If you want to watch it with us, link up wherever you're finding this, whether you have the current Scooby-Doo and Batman Bring the Bull DVD, or if you found it on some of the source, or hey, heck, maybe even you have the old VHS tape. Who knows? Just try to get it to the zero, get it to the zero marker. Black right before you see the big old iconic.
Yeah, if someone leaves a comment saying that they're watching this with the old VHS, I will just that would just warm my heart so much.
You never know. It's a magical time, folks. It's like Tahiti. It's a magical place we live in. So you never know. Anyway, let's just get it to the black right before you see the iconic eyes of the Scooby-Doo logo. The woo, 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 right before that, and that's where we're going to be starting. So if you want to link up, and again, trying to keep it conversation. So when Tiki says go, like Lethal Weapon, we don't go on 3 like we should. We go on go. When you hear go, yes. 1, 2, 3, go. That's when you hit play. All right.
All right. And hopefully these audio issues don't mess with our timing. I'm kind of worried about that.
We'll see.
All right. Okay, folks. The new Scooby-Doo movie in 1, 2, 3, go. All right. Also, Dragon, it's worth noting I put in the episode title that this is going to be a fan commentary and a riff. Just because, I mean, let's face it, there's some ridiculous stuff in here.
Yeah, there is a lot of ridiculous stuff in here. You're right about that.
And I feel like that it's only serviceable that we kind of just poke fun at it while we've got the opportunity. This is one of the most... I don't know. I don't know what to think of this Batman, Dragon. That's the thing. That's the thing that I keep coming back to with this.
Well, interesting fact. This Batman, he's voiced by Ole Sol, if I'm pronouncing his last name right. It might be like Soleil, but I think it's Ole Sol. He's actually he was Batman animation for the longest time. He's the Super Friends Batman before basically in the tail end of Super Friends, and eventually in the Filmation Batman, they got Adam West involved. But before then, you had this guy. He was the main animated Batman for the longest time before, the likes of Kevin Conroy come around.
All right, you know what? Does he feel like more in character with Super Friends Batman? Because I'm not very familiar with Super Friends.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, it's very much like the Filmation Batman and the Super Friends Batman. It's the same. Again, it's the same voice actor, and pretty much it's the same. Like, it's a superhero, but in a bat costume. It's about the only difference. He's not really Batman, but he's just,
Right.
Again, the Super Friends are all interchangeable costumes, pretty much. We're like, hey, haha, let's laugh with our hands on our hips. Ha ha ha. That was them. So of course we passed the opening, which of course is very iconic hallmark of the new Scooby-Doo Adventures, like that green slime at the end, like, oh god, that's burned in my nostalgic memory, those episodes.
Oh yeah. And then, as you said, the flashlight, like on today's episode, Scooby-Doo meets.
Yep.
So the episode starts 30 seconds in with a plane crash. That's a good way to kind of set the stakes.
Again, I will say this: I think compared to the sequel that came episodes later, this is far superior in terms of the plot. It has more interesting stuff. The other one's just really that one's more riffy. I'll say that much. The other one's more riff worthy.
Right. Not to say that this doesn't have riff-worthy stuff in it, but I will agree the other one is like that's when Batman is doing some pretty out of character stuff.
Yeah. Of course, here it's fun to note. So again, a big reason we're doing this, folks, not a secret. Just again, we're kind of building up to as well. We're doing kind of the next better, the actual better, more clever version of the Batman Scooby-Doo crossover with Batman Brave and the Bold. And in that one, it's funny, they did their research, and you'll notice, and I think it's worth bringing up here and there, they looked to these two specials. So they tried to encapsulate the novelty that we had in these specials. So they take some notable gags and the moments from these specials, and they rework it to be even better in that eventual movie. So stuff like Fred with the flashlight, and you got Joker and Penguin, who are definitely main villains in these two specials. They're definitely going to be worked in to that movie. So you got some fun stuff to look forward to.
So, of course, one of the things that's riff-worthy is just, the animation quality. Just all the... all the still figures just standing around, Batman and Robin with their hands at their hips.
Now, the fun thing you'll notice is Batman. It's almost like a bingo game where you can see like how many times he's off model. He's just like a drinking game or a bingo game. It's like there's so many ways in which Batman is off model all throughout this special and the next one. I mean, the biggest, most glaring one that is most constant is his neck. He's supposed to have lines for the cowl. It's like supposed to be painted all blue, but they have that one fleshy opening on the neck constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're thinking, oh, he must, for some reason, I think it really shows to me, I could be harsh here, but shows to me the animators weren't Batman fans. They were just like, oh, they're doing a Super Friends show. Well, we don't really care about that. We're just doing Scooby-Doo. We know how Shaggy looks, how Batman looks. I don't care. I don't read comics. I don't know.
Hey, Dragon, we're being introduced to a innocent-looking character who's like the one character that hasn't already been established.
The thing that bugs me most about this is literally the main villain, not Joker and Penguin, the main villain, who somehow coerced who used Joker and Penguin, is wearing the exact same ensemble that the main hooded ghoulish character is wearing. The same purple pattern. So it's a mystery to me who the main antagonist is.
Ooh. Also,
seriously, Batman.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I were Batman, I'd be more alarmed with a punch clown in a box. If I were Batman, which I'm not.
Yeah, I agree. Batman's just kind of like, oh, it's just a gift. All right, that's nice.
Yeah, I love this though. This is nice, and again, there's like the novelty back then where you have. I love that Scooby in this one specifically more than the next one, but here it's a lot better done. Where Scooby, he kind of has aspirations to be a crime fighter like Batman. I think it's a cute arc for Scooby-Doo. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's punching it's like he's punching a clown like Batman does on a regular basis. It's gonna, he's trying to emulate him. At least that's my headcanon.
So we've got,
of course, Funny Money again. Seems very
a lot better.
Yeah, Casey Kasem Robin, I think, is like I'm down for a Casey Kasem Robin because one, who doesn't love Casey Kasem? But secondly, he has like an exuberant kind of Burt Ward-esque charm to him. I could buy it. At least in animation, like Hanna-Barbera animation, I could easily buy it. There's that sweet Batmobile.
Oh yeah,
I have that one.
Nice. Is it a specific one? Like, is it like the Super Friends Batmobile?
I'm pretty sure that's the one they use in Super Friends as well.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Well, it's definitely the Filmation one because again, this was when they basically acquired the Filmation rights, and then Hanna-Barbera made Super Friends. That's how it went. It was Filmation, Batman, then Super Friends. So I know it was definitely the Filmation Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much recycle as much as they could from Filmation to Super Friends. So. It's like a marketing thing. It's like we can do toys based on Super Friends, so we can have all the DC heroes instead of one. It's
right.
Logic.
Of course, we get a junkyard set piece.
Yep. we get a lesson. We get kind of a lesson in compression, kind of PSA-esque lesson in the trash compactor. Well, in the in compression from Batman here coming up.
And we don't need a childhood ruining song to fit in with that, Dragon. We get that lesson right on our own.
Right. Yep.
And I guess the lesson kind of fits with the 60s Batman like PSA quality, right?
Yeah, because you gotta remember, with all the filmation Batman, which this is essentially based on, you gotta remember, they are looking to the 60s. It's basically 60s Batman with all the cleverness sucked out of it. That's kind of what you get with filmation Batman in the end. It's like, hey, let's take an element we love from the 60s Batman, that opening, the opening cartoon, the opening, the the whole him and Robin running animated in the opening of 60s Batman. Let's do a series on that, but we can't afford the quality writing that's on that show, so we're just going to basically do a show that's based on that opening.
Right.
Kind of the logic behind it. Honestly, it doesn't even look as well animated as that opening.
Well, no, but I mean, what show does look as good as its opening segment?
Oh, you got a point there. So yeah, we have a big again. Look at this. Come on, literally just in shadow with green eyes. That's the only difference. She didn't even wear gloves.
You can see the granny slippers, Dragon. You can literally see her slippers.
What I'm saying, she couldn't have worn a different outfit, really. It's like, it doesn't reflect well on Mystery Incorporate's detective skills. Worse off Batman's detective skills. That's what's worse. Come on.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I feel like Batman is most out of character in. Dragon is Batman is just not up to his A game in either of these.
Yeah.
And I also think that Penguin is just a chump. Like, Penguin and Joker both are just chumps. We'll get to them.
You're right about that there. to quote Jimmy McGill, he's making you have to be a chump.
I mean, seriously, this is like straight up like character assassination on the Joker's part.
Yeah, they get it's a known thing. We had Larry Storch as the Joker. He was the earliest Joker, if I'm not mistaken, the first Joker in animation, and Mark Hamill did not have to work hard to supplant that. Here's something rather heroic for Fred the Try here coming up here. He's climbing up the crane all by himself, and he's combating our shrouded figure.
All right, Dragon, you ready for the biggest stretch in the universe in terms of like the comic book origins of something?
Oh God, what?
So imagine Alan Moore is sitting there watching the new Scooby-Doo movies, Dragon, and he sees this.
You're not thinking Hooded Justice, are you?
Well, no. Just hear me out. He sees the segment. He sees Batman and Robin rushing Fred because of a case of mistaken identity, because Fred has on the mask of the enemy. And so Alan Moore is like, I'm going to write a freaking comic based on the Joker, and it's going to be a Joker origin movie where Batman's going to rush the Joker, even though the Joker's a good guy, because Batman has the hood of the enemy. And that scarred Fred. And Alan Moore is just up at night thinking about how much Batman and Robin rushing him just was such a traumatizing experience, and I'm going to stop now.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
Really? Are you sure about that, Dragon?
It's up there. I'll say that much. It's up there. I gotta tell you, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard you say.
The Fred Cloak.
At the very least, I think that might be the dumbest Batman thing you've ever said.
Hood, Dragon. The purple hood, if you will.
Dope. Anyway, real quick.
Alan Moore's just crying about Fred's trauma. Like Fred needed years of therapy, Dragon.
But I do want to rant about the Fred thing though. Because here's the thing: Robin attacks him, but Robin really can't tell that. Again, he's in the ascot and everything. He can't tell that it's Fred with a mask on. Really?
That's what I'm saying, Dragon. Like,
I
this
don't.
whole special is just filled with moments like that, where it's like, okay, these people, they are just having a bad day at the office, man.
Also, you'll again. Here's like for the bingo card. You'll notice Robin's symbol keeps disappearing, and now like his
Oh,
lines are on the
God.
wrong side. And there's so many animation errors. So many.
Hey,
Of course, we
Dragon,
have.
let me ask you this. Does the
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold one, is that in canon with these?
No, it's not in canon. But again, they do have like definite references to this. Like it's.
So, I mean, like, they like, Batman and Robin aren't pals with the Mystery Incorporated gang?
Well, Robin's not in it because Robin was rarely in Brave and the Bold because he did the Nightwing thing, so they kind of moved on with him. So
Okay,
he's
okay.
not in. He's not in that.
Fair enough.
Of course.
So I love the idea of them blindfolding the, like, oh, sure, we can drive the mystery machine to go to the Batmobile, but we'll need to blindfold you to protect the location of the Batcave.
Yeah.
This is a
He
very
definitely
humble
gets-
Batcave, Dragon.
It is. Well, it's more of a cost affordable Batman for Batcave for animation.
And again, I love the
Here we go, finally!
about Bat cookies.
Yes, this was my favorite thing from both of these. This moment right here, the Bat Cookie. It's nice that we do get a Bat Cookie moment in both of these specials, but I love the Bat Cookie here. Oh yeah.
Also, Chief O'Hara was mentioned, and I wish that we would get to see Chief O'Hara.
Yeah. They actually they homage that a little in the new one too. They mention one of Batman's law enforcement pals who's not. He mentions Commissioner Gordon, but unfortunately there was no Gordon in that.
God. Drink that bat milk, Shaggy.
Yep, Bat Milk. Eat your heart out, Luke.
Evil Luke Skywalker here, and I'm going to get revenge on Batman for copyright infringement. Because you see, the recipe for bat milk is just blue milk with different food coloring.
I'll sue! I'll go right down to the copyright
Right after I
office.
see Ben Solo.
Right. Anyway. God. But yeah, briefly though, again, like, sorry, I was trying to think. Go into the Batcave, but going to the Batcave is something that we definitely we have in all of these specials, but specifically the gag where Scooby keeps eating all of Shaggy's bat food. That's definitely a running gag that persists in all of these. Scooby constantly eating bat. So there's that kind of cute image of Scooby's driving the Batmobile and he feels like, hey, I'm Batman. Isn't that cool?
And you're right, Scooby does kind of have an arc of emulating Batman throughout this, which is nice.
Yeah. I don't want to give anything away. Let's just say there's a beautiful payoff in our little theme thing with that.
Okay, nice. So, yeah, what do you think of the Batman and Robin exhibit? It's pretty nice and kitschy, right?
Yeah, it is kitschy. I'd visit it.
Oh, man. And every time I see the Joker and Penguin, I'm just like, they're not even the true masterminds here.
I do agree it is vaguely clever that, yeah, you take the Batmobile to a Batman or Robin exhibit, who's going to look for it? Again, they're going to assume it's part of the exhibit.
That is a fun element of this. You're right. And of course, Joker to me is just the design of him is just so wonky.
Yeah, they got there's the draw thing. Like the draw is off model a lot, and yeah, they have like the he's very disproportional, this Joker.
Oh yeah, he's got a huge head.
Yeah. And you'll notice, like, we have mistakes with Robin's sleeves all over the place. Like, they're either all red or, like, they're half red right now. It's just, they're all over them. I will say this with the Joker in this, though. The one, again, Penguins just completely got screwed out of this thing. But with the Joker, I do like it's just a simple pun. I like that he's dealing in funny money. I mean, that's like I can imagine Joker doing something like doing like a funny money as like kind of a punchline within a scheme like that. So I'll give it credit there.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying if we're gonna do anything vaguely Joker, like hey, it's using punch clowns and it's filled with funny money. Okay, I get that. That's kind of Joker-esque. Larry Storch as Joker, just very infamous, let's say.
Really, really.
I mean, even Mark Hamill, he's talked about on Fat Man on Batman. Again, Larry Storch, nothing against him because Mark Hamill has an appreciation for everything in the early history of Batman. But even he'll address it was off, and he had a feeling he could do better.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, Dragon, where it's like we're so familiar with 60s era Batman performances. Like, of course, Cesar Romero comes to mind, much more iconic than this guy. Just
I will say this.
Collection.
You're right about that. Let me say this about this Batman, though. The one thing they do kind of they're inspired from the 60s show, but I do like with this Batman. I don't know if it persists in all the other Batman shows or not, but this one, I do like that he's very informative. He's a very well-read Batman. I like that he has like all these random facts at the ready. I kind of like that. It's kind of
like he's a Batman where it's like he has the random facts. It's just he doesn't really know how to apply them all that well, which is the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, I think the reason this is interesting. I think the reason Joker and Penguin are the Joker Penguin pairing is famous, and I think this predates what I'm thinking of here. But oddly enough, it ties in with Brave and the Bold. In the Brave and the Bold comic, which again is it's not directly the show is not an adaptation of the comic. It's inspired by the comic, which is pair Batman up with people all the time, that's the premise. And famously, there's an issue. Denny O'Neil, I think wrote it, where Joker and Penguin. Basically, Penguin frames Joker for his murder, and Joker and Batman have to team up. And it's just kind of cool, like teaming them up, and it's basically Joker having to go on like a revenge quest with the Penguins. It was like that's kind of why. My point is like this pairing has staying power because back in the day, they were like along with Catwoman, the top 3 Batman villains. Extending beyond that, there are a number of iconic Batman villains, and Penguin always kind of had that too. In the '60s show, definitely Burgess Meredith kind of I think cemented that. And I mean, now
went a long way, I feel, with Penguin's pop culture appeal.
Yeah, and a show like Gotham we have coming up, we're yet again pairing our kind of our archetype for
Penguin's kind of been like always the selling point villain of Gotham from the beginning.
Yes, I mean now coming up on Gotham, we're pairing Penguin and Jerome together. In doing so,
right,
the Joker villain for Gotham. So I'm just saying that I think that speaks to the staying power that we have way back here around these two being paired by themselves. That's back in the 70s, back in '72. So it's a long stretch of these two guys being linked together as like kind of the top tier Batman villains.
Sure.
I will say this though, just with the death trap that it's not really death; it's just kind of just the trap that Batman and Robin find themselves in. I do appreciate the practicality of this. They can't escape because they have nothing to grapple onto. I kind of like the understated brilliance in that. So they open the door and they drop down. They can't get out of there. It is. I remember when I saw it the first time, I was like, yeah, how are they going to get out of that? I mean, if they really wanted to keep them down there forever, they just needed to get rid of the punch clowns because then they couldn't bounce out of there.
Wow, gee, Daphne, you must be really scared. Your hands are clamming up. Yours too, Velma.
Honestly, what Joker and Penguin are really doing here is they're just kind of going out of their way to scare these guys. They're just like, hey, let's forget our evil plan. Let's just have fun terrorizing these guys. Like, ooh, let's just push buttons.
To tell you the truth, the Joker and Penguin stuff might be my least favorite stuff in this episode, just because to me it gets a little repetitive and it kind of sidetracks everything.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, all right, we get it. Joker and Penguin are kind of like. I wish there was like more interaction with Joker and Penguin and Batman and Robin in this scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just like they're pulling switches, you know? It's like it's not very evil or nefarious or interesting at all.
I think it's already passed, but I think the first time Joker pulls a switch, it was really well animated. I'm just saying it's like a Bigfoot sighting, so I wanted to highlight it. There was the first switch pull was very well, by these standards, was very well animated. Possibly the best animated shot in the whole thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, food for thought.
Do you have any other favorites besides Batman and Robin that they crossed over with in the Scooby-Doo movies?
Well, again, aside from Batman and Robin, it would probably be the Globetrotters are always fun. The Globetrotters were fun, but I could never seem to. Every time I wanted to see the Adams Family crossover because I was always built into the intro. I was never able to watch that one. I could easily watch it now. I'm just saying, never when it aired. I always looked forward to it, but it never showed up.
Right, right.
So I mean, I guess probably the Globetrotters. I mean, that's probably the second most I'd seen. Don Knotts was Don Knotts was good too.
Mhm.
I remember Sonny
Oh,
and
gotta
Cher.
love
Though.
that
Sonny
great
and Cher.
Hanna-Barbera recycled animation.
Yep. I'll tell you. Let me say this about Scooby. It's kind of a thesis statement for all Scooby-Doo that finally gets. Well, you get the. I kind of got a wish fulfillment in Brave and the Bold a little. My issue with Scooby-Doo watching it, and based on my school of thought with Batman the Animated Series growing up, has always been, if they didn't run away all the time, you got to remember they're classic criminal again, the original. I'm not talking about like the very impressive, like Zombie Island or or Witch's Ghost. Before that era, where like the mystical threats were actually a threat. Back in the day, it's classic Scooby Doo. Really, if they just didn't run away, the show would be over.
Right.
Yeah, my kind of animated series school of thought was, short of like punching the bad guy, you could just, don't be afraid, don't run away, face your fears, and again, they'd solve these things, a lot easier because it's always like a scare them away plot. Well, and after all the mysteries you solve, you're gonna realize at a certain point, hey, there, it's
Oh God, look at the animation
you're
on
gonna
these skeletons.
Yep, oh god, just the cheesiness of that's the suit has like black or like a background color painted on it, so the skeletons will
Yes.
seem that they're alive. And of course, it makes them stand out even more so.
Oh God. Oh,
See, this
that
is
is
what I'm talking
ridiculous.
about. It's like honestly, like the real gag should be this is the one time when the guys under the suits are actually are career criminals. Where okay, we actually should be scared here. We're Penguin and the frickin' Joker, but in this in this Hanna-Barbera version, they're even less intimidating than they usually are. So it's like part of the course. Like why are we running away, guys? I like that Fred's kind of calling them on a little there. Like guys, why are we running? It's the same point. Why are we running? Again, here, even again, Scooby just kind of he's taking him down here by hey, Bones, dog, no brainer.
Uh-huh.
Aha. Oh, I wonder who it could be. Get out. Yeah, see, Scooby saved the day. How nice is that? Good for Scooby. That's
Yeah.
nice. I approve of that ending. I approve of that. I know it's not the ending, but honestly, it feels like the episode could end.
That's kind of a major flaw with this episode is, yeah, the last 12 minutes are like, all right, we got the main bad guys here. The main bad guys kind of feel like an afterthought in the grand scheme of things because they don't really get introduced until like 15 minutes in, and they're not in the last 15 minutes.
Oh, there's the reverse bat symbol. There's the no prize.
Oh, God.
Bruce Timm in Heart of Ice, again, one of the best episodes of Batman animated series. He had an homage to this in there where he allowed the bat symbol to be reversed, because it does happen in animation sometimes. Sometimes you do get like a no prize like that. It doesn't happen 24/7 like it does here. But Bruce Timm, like, he could have taken it, he said, leave it in to homage the Filmation Batman where the symbol keeps getting reversed like that. There's like one frame in A Heart of Ice where the bat symbol reverses colors like that, so it's called a no prize.
Nice.
And you know what's interesting? It's kind of occurring to me in the moment here, without giving anything away, because Tiki hasn't seen this yet. We do kind of homage that whole, like, okay, well, our main mystery's wrapped up, and we might have a little more to go. And we do it in a far better way, though. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they did do the research on these two specials and figure out how can we homage and how can we improve upon it.
Which is very impressive because, like, in the grand scheme of freaking the world of Batman, these Scooby-Doo crossovers are sort of like a fly on the radar. It's like they're footnotes.
I noticed this brown detective here, this brown cop. The brown suited cop. I like to think he's the Filmation version of Bullock. Bullock wasn't created yet, just for the record. I'm just saying. Let's imagine this is filmed. See, that's less of a stretch than the whole Red Hood thing. I love it.
It's just like the thing with Batman Dragon, like you said, is like there's absolutely no air of menace to his character. There's no air of mystery. It's just, he is like the most jolly, good, oh shucks superhero you could ever wish to meet.
I couldn't help but notice there's kind of like a secret plot in this whole thing, if you pick up on it, where Scooby, he wants to live up to Batman, but Fred is absolutely an aspiring Robin. He's trying to become the next Robin when you think about it, because he's just like he's like one statement away from saying holy. He's that close to being Robin. And you'll notice Batman throughout this thing, he keeps stealing Fred's thunder. Like, Fred has a revelation, like, he basically spells it out, and then Batman says, yeah, and then basically Batman echoes exactly what Fred just said. You stole thunder right in front of everyone. So again, Fred is kind of an aspiring Robin in that regard. Oh, we have a classic animation trope coming up here. It's all over. It's not just for Filmation, but it's a classic where you have the old background interaction trope coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Where this tree right now, it's a painted background, but soon you'll be able to interact with it. We'll tell you how. Stay tuned.
Oh boy! Wow. So what do you think of the whole vanishing house gimmick?
Yeah, again, I like it better than the bridge thing we're going to do in the next one. But like the upside down house is kind of impresses more as a kid. It makes the whole crate thing make a lot more sense where the crate's like bolted down. So I off. It's not the most brilliant thing ever. It's just again, it's better executed than it was then. It seems like a lot of hassle, like to make your house turn upside down.
Right. A lot of
just like had a platform that
there.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. See, folks, it's painted a different color. So when Scooby, he hugs this branch, it's a cell. Now it's a painting.
Oh God.
See, you'll notice now it's a lighter brown. And again, it's the old animation trope. You can tell something's about to be interacted with because it's not painted into the background. It's like it's not an artful painting.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I used to call it the Blue's Clues effect because they did a very similar thing where you'll have like an animated object, and Steve will will grab it, and then it'll become live action all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the next level of that sort of thing. I will say this though, Tiki. Now this is actually giving your earlier thing. I'm gonna tell you, how do you make that Alan Moore thing actually work?
Okay, tell me, Dragon.
The house was upside down, which in the animated adaptation of Batman: The Killing Joke, again, and the actual Killing Joke part, the good stuff, we did that really cool thing where we had the Batman Joker fight after they did the Hall of Mirrors. We went into this upside down version of a room where of Joker's apartment in the multiple. When he says, "I like to think my origin is multiple choice." Batman, again, it's like everything you knew about Joker turned upside down. Therefore, the room was upside down. He was beating Batman with implements from the upside down room. So again, I think that's selling me more on this house retroactively. So again, completely coincidental. I'm saying, hey, maybe Alan Moore, not Alan Moore specifically, I should say, but in adapting Alan Moore's work, perhaps we were looking at, hey, you remember that? Bruce Timm's like saying, hey guys, you remember that one episode of of the new Scooby-Doo movies where Batman and Robin, they guest starred in it? Yeah. What if we did that for the big Joker scene? Because it's a blank background in that scene. It's around the House of Mirrors. It's like an upside down room. There's some food for thought. That's how you make it work, folks.
But Fred's still gonna need years of therapy, Dragon.
But you know what's funny about this hooded character, who I have no idea who it's going to be. This hooded character, she looks identical, or he or she. You never know. That hooded character looks identical to Captain America bad guy, the hate monger.
Okay.
Basically like an old kind of like a purple hooded. Well, look, there's a difference there. There was a hood. There was a mask, which is what I was thinking of, and now it's like a hoodie with darkness in it. So they can't stick to anything now, can they?
God.
Oh, I heard this. I can't. This is a little cruel what Daphne's doing to Scooby here. Again, he didn't make any noise, and you're tying his mouth shut.
I agree. That really bothered me.
As for the record, I've grown to become a bigger fan of Daphne, in large part because of Grey Delisle's, but something I'd recommend to everyone out there. There was a recent Scooby-Doo show that was really good. I think revitalized Scooby-Doo in all the right ways. It got us a new voice cast, and I think it's been the best thing Scooby-Doo needed in a long time. It was it's called Mystery. I think it's just called Mystery Incorporated, like Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. I think that's what they called the show. It's basically a less episodic version of Scooby-Doo. It was like there's a narrative that carried over. It did build to something, but it was developing the Scooby-Doo mythos. It was actually. It was, let's just say it's a really smartly written Scooby-Doo. I recommend. I think Tiki, you would really love it. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah, you go nuts for it. I think.
Because Zombie Island is so good, Dragon. How good is Zombie Island?
I'm saying it's of a TV quality. It's like smart writing like that, but applied to it's like, what if you took that writing applied to the movies, but applied it to a Scooby-Doo series? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, that intrigues me. That definitely intrigues me.
But again, not like a movie like a movie payoff, but it's like, what if we did a series that had like a serialized payoff? It's like serialized, and that it does connect. Like they are building like an arc for the season. Anyway. Scooby as a Shriner.
Scooby riding the toy car, I believe that was in the intro, right?
Yeah, I think so. I gotta remember a lot of the images they're pulling for the show. They have to pull from episodes that are in production. This is probably one of the episodes that are really in production.
That's true.
This bolo that Robin's throwing is terribly animated. Look at that thing. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, I can't. This is what I heard, and this bugs me right here. Why is Robin not doing the acrobatic feat? No one did the research for this. No one.
Yeah.
Robin's got one job. He's got one job: be the acrobat, and Batman takes that away from him. But while I have Shaggy here, I hear that this was the first use of Jinkies in Scooby-Doo. That's what I heard this episode.
Really?
Shaggy said it before Velma. That's what I heard.
That's crazy. So you're saying that Jinkies was never said in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
That's what I heard. Again, I didn't watch all the Scooby-Doo already. I
Okay,
can't
don't
remember
tell
all
me
the
that's
Scooby-Doo
not some
already.
Mandela effect level shit right there, Dragon.
That's what I'm saying. And from what I heard, it's Shaggy who says it first. Shaggy coins it first, and it is said in this episode.
Look, I don't care who says it first. You can't tell me that in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? They never say it.
I'm something to look into. That's all I'm saying. All right.
That's crazy.
I'm saying that's what I heard. I'm not saying I heard. I'm not. Again, I only heard it here in this episode. I can't verify if it's in Where Are You at all. We assumed it was, but you know. Yeah. A little head trip for the folks out there to look into.
So I love just this hooded figure on the unicycle.
Oh, Daphne has that great line, that great ridiculous line. And that's the thing. That's the most 60s-esque line that she has, by the way. He's on a unicycle. We'll never catch him now. See, that's where the charm of the episode comes in there. You got a few moments like that, you know. And again, Scooby-Doo is a shriner. This cracked me up, though. I do like that.
God.
And this is like a never-ending warehouse.
This is pretty over the top, and oh my god, you're right. It is a Batman thing that ends in a warehouse, Dragon.
Yep.
How freaking fitting is that?
Never underestimate the power of the warehouse, Tiki. Crates and warehouses. It's a staple of superheroes. You know why? Because secretly everyone, well, actually predated this, so actually I was about to say, it's like everyone loves Raiders of the Lost Ark, warehouses with crates. But
yeah, right.
That was a staple before. And it gets such an easy set.
So you're saying that George Lucas was watching this and was like, "Hey, Steven, I was just watching the new Scooby-Doo movie."
Somehow I can't verify that, but you never know.
You should totally have this at the end,
geez,
Steven.
I get it.
Just a big warehouse filled with crates, Steven. Just a big warehouse.
This is what's ridiculous too. All right, the fact that she had to unmask herself. That's what's sad. Like, she's calling them on this stupidity right here, saying they're saying, "What did you do to that old woman?" I am that old woman. She is Mrs. Baker. Yeah. But again, I like that. This is nice.
Dragon, it really is. It's just like these people should all be reprimanded.
I just like that Batman randomly has a big bag of bat Scooby snacks for Scooby.
Yes. Well, you never know when
big bag
will arise.
Sure. Anyway, ended on a laugh. Again, kind of the precursor to Super Friends there.
Oh God.
And we do this weird thing. I don't know why they always did this. I keep wanting to say New Adventures. You know, the new Scooby-Doo movies. They always end up just playing the intro again at the very end.
Right.
I guess because they didn't have the budget to come up with an outro, so I guess they just wanted to, you know, they wanted to get their money's worth out of that opening. Be my guess.
Oh man. So, Dragon, any final thoughts on this?
You know, it's silly, but at its core, well, we have been riffy. I just want to give it credit where credit's due. And this thing, I think, is far superior to the second, especially down the line, writing wise, because, you know, at least it's just kind of fun, campy in a way. It's campy without the cleverness, but it's campy all the same. I think I just simply enjoy Batman being nice to the mystery gang. You know, bat milk and cookies. You know, there's not a lot to it by any stretch, but you know, I prefer this to what comes later. It's nostalgic, and I attribute a lot of what I like about this to nostalgia and the memorability of it. Again, it's not Yates by any stretch, but it has like some fond memories from youth with me on this one. That's kind of where I'm at on it. It's fine. You know, it's like, hey, it's inoffensive.
Yeah. I definitely, as you said, and I think it is better than the second one, and the second one is going to be the big riff-worthy one, because that one just it makes no sense. It really doesn't. But yeah, this is okay. It's okay. Like you said, inoffensive is a good word for it. You know, it's I think the major flaw that we have with it is just the fact that everyone is just so off their A game. Like it's not a good showing detective wise for Batman or Robin, or you know, like there's so many moments where it's just like the characters wouldn't do that. You know, it's just so obvious that the people writing this just didn't care about the character whatsoever, and in that way, it is kind of like a blown opportunity that, you know, has taken so many years later, you know, decades upon decades later to finally course correct into a movie that's actually solid. But yeah, folks, we'll see. So next time we'll be taking a look at do you know the name of the episode, Dragon? It's just like the part 2 of the new Scooby-Doo movies for Batman and Robin.
Caped Crusader Caper.
Caped Crusader Caper. That's the one. That's the one, folks. All right, stay tuned. And in the meantime, watch out for evil Luke Skywalker, because he'll take you down if you try and go after his copyrighted products. Isn't that right, evil Luke Skywalker?
It's my bat milk, bat fake. My